What's going on, you guys? Back with another episode of the Smoothie Podcast. I'm your host, Destin Parker, and always we got the co-host, Kendall Allen. What's good with you, Kendall?
Yo, what's up, good people? Just here chilling in the great state of Florida. Just having a bad weekend with my sports teams, but you know, here another day,
Another day, man.
another listen.
I hear that, man. So what's going on with your teams, man? Let's break it down for us, man. How you feeling?
My Jaguars are just still trash, so we'll just.
Which is, I mean, that's why they drafted them one overall.
Yeah, but again, it's bad when you're worse than you were last year. But it is what it is. It did my Gators, man.
That was a man.
It was a great game, and just you taking back some mistakes from some defensive players, and we probably would have won that game.
That and the last play on that 1 yard line with Emory Jones and the handoff. I don't quite. I like either give it, pull it, do something. You can't. Y'all both can't just waltz into the end zone together.
Yeah, I mean, honestly though, like Richardson should be starting. Emory, I love Emory, but it's just time.
I think Richardson would deal with like a wrist injury or some form, right?
No, he hurt his hamstring. Playing against a cupcake when he probably should have played. They should have probably just let Emory play, but. Dan Mullen's go Dan Mullen, and I'm on a Sunday evening just like, why am I a sports fan?
I mean, it's some bright spots to that, though, because, I mean, y'all definitely gave Bama a run for their money. Like,
yeah, we did. I mean,
the running game, y'all got some tailbacks and something like that, and y'all found some. It's just, I know it's the one thing when you play Bama, if you're not making those crucial late game plays that they make on a routine basis, that's what matter. Yeah, because they did not out at first half. Oh
no, the first half they were clapping.
Yeah, they were out talented y'all. The second half, y'all regroup. Y'all came back in, and because at the end of the second quarter, y'all defense started to get your bright. Because
we were down 21-3. So
so y'all started picking up on defense. And the second half, y'all came out. Y'all found the running game, and y'all started kind of because that's the thing is you can't be intimidated by Bama. You must come out and hit them the way they hit you. Dude, y'all showed a chink in that armor now because I was already giving like Bama's defense was back in the first couple of games. I was like, I haven't seen. But here's the thing. I haven't seen a Bama defense with the defensive line move like they've in the previous years. They've been good teams, but their defense haven't been scary like the 09 defense.
I mean that's true, but I mean, they have enough to win, you know.
Yeah, but y'all show running game. Now, like I said, maybe when Richardson starts, because I can always re-see him again in the SEC championship game.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think. If y'all can get that y'all defense is ready to go, y'all got the running game, and y'all just put some consistent games together. Don't think this.
All we gotta do is get past Georgia, dog. That's all we gotta do.
And I think Georgia is inconsistent offense. I think their defense is really good, but I think they're inconsistent offense. So, but
they ain't been the same. But we coming.
No, I hear that, man. Like I said, I see. Now, are you still in on Dan Mullen? How are you feeling on that as your coach? Are you still in? Or are you kind of?
I'm still in for now. I mean, there's nobody else better out there. I mean, I could be like Florida State and be 0-3.
Yeah, they put that was a very emotional loss the first week to Notre Dame, especially with Mackenzie Milton coming in to kind of make it a game, and then that just zaps you. And then the next week we can lose to Jacksonville State. And then I don't know who they played this week. Who they played this week?
I don't know, but they lost. That's all I know is they lost. I got my in-laws, boy. We got on the family call. They were just like,
and that's the hardest thing. That's the hardest thing about being a sports fan when you don't really care about development. You don't care about going through the rebuild process. You want W's.
Especially sometimes it's okay to be a rebuilding, but when you're in especially like when your teams are pristine, you can't just be like.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, because that's my next point was like when your teams are teams with legacy, Florida State, Florida, any of those type of teams have like those legacy, because your boy just passed away, and Florida State was Coach Bowden.
Oh yeah, Coach Bowden.
Yeah, so
Bobby.
So you know about his legacy, and then you had a little bit of the Jimbo Fisher years. You know, it wasn't the longest, but he was a coordinator. Yeah. He was head coach. He got a national championship out of it. So when you got teams like that, it's kind of hard to kind of sit through a rebuild process. When you're a team that does not win or have a legacy of winning, it's easier to kind of let that go. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's true. Maybe that's why as a Jags fan, I just take naps on Sundays. But hey, that's just me, y'all.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you gotta give it some time, man. You gotta let Urban get in there. I mean, and it's hard. Just everything will just turn around because you gotta think about it. The last number one overall quarterback that really came into a team that was kind of almost primed and ready to go was Baker. But the Browns were named the last number one quarterback drafted that had a team that was on defense and offense.
No.
What you got for me?
That's a hot take, bro. That's a.
Okay, let me ask you, Kendall. Do you understand the question that I'm saying to you? Do you understand the statement I just made?
You're saying that Baker walked into a situation where everything was ready to go, primed and ready. They were trash when he got there.
Bro, they wouldn't the Browns of old. The Browns of old was 0-14, Kendall.
Hey, are they still the Browns?
Yeah, they're still the Browns. They won 9 games, 10 games. But you talking about the last few, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like the last quarterback. That's why I always have to talk to people like, bro, he had a actual situation getting drafted because normally getting drafted number one overall, you don't go into a team that's ready to win at anything. Yeah. Because Joe Burrow, the Bengals, they didn't win. They were what, 3?
No, they weren't ready.
They weren't ready. They had that's the statement I'm saying. They had players to play a winnable game. Kendall not win a Super Bowl. So the last quarterback drafted, as I stated, that had a solid team to go to would be Baker Mayfield.
I'm gonna have to do some research on that one. I wasn't ready for that one.
Give me the last 5 years in your mind of a quarterback being drafted that had a team that was structurally ready to actually be winnable games. That's what I'm saying. Winnable, not win a Super Bowl. Because I don't think not Kyler. Not Sam Darnold.
Dang, no, not Sam.
Nobody, dude. It's not like a thing. I'm not saying like you can dislike the quarterback, but give me
because I dislike, but he trash. He trash. He wasn't worthy of that pick.
I don't mind. I don't mind you disliking the quarterback, but the statement I said was true.
Hey man,
you want to dispute? I'm not saying they're the greatest team that ever been assembled. I'm saying he had a situation getting drafted into that he had to go through a whole lot of plays.
So since that statement's true, you know what else is true then?
Okay.
Nicki Minaj's cousin's friend having big balls.
Where's that come from? Where's that come from? Where'd you read
that? Because
you want to elaborate on this story since you just said that.
Hey, because Nicki's been out here saying that, don't go get the vax because your balls, because her cousin's friend's balls just happened, to expand, and his girlfriend, fiance left him,
because he got the vaccine. He got the vaccination.
Yeah, because he got the vaccine. He's saying that the vaccination caused enlargement of your balls, and his wife left, or his fiance left him because he had, giant balls.
He pretty much had elephantitis in the nuts, pretty much.
Yeah, but
okay,
they're also saying what causes large balls is the
clap.
Yeah.
Well, how large are we talking here? Because that's a hard statement. Paul, that's a statement to say, and then it's like, are we talking like grapefruit size? Like, you go.
I don't know. Hey, but it got Nicki on. She was on Fox News. She got a call from the White House telling them, "Hey, dog, this ain't no real facts. This ain't true. This is just as true as Baker being good."
Once again, that was never my statement. I want everyone on the record to hear that. I never stated that. I said last quarterback drafted one overall that go to a solid situation was Baker Mayfield. Kyler didn't have it. He had to go through growing pains. Joe Burrow didn't have it. He had to go through growing pains. He got hurt. Unfortunately, I like Joey. I like Joey Dobbins. It's the same thing for Sunshine down in Jacksonville in the Sunshine State.
Hey, it is the same. It is the same. Hey, but you didn't hear about the Nicki story?
I didn't know. The last story I heard about Nicki was her and her husband, that whole allegation and her paying off. That's the last thing.
What they got y'all in Alabama on, bro? That's been like.
You mean tell me I'm supposed to be like, ooh, Nicki Minaj? Like, there was too much going on.
Hey, man. Hey, listen. Anytime Nicki makes a Tucker Carlson, I'm just like, oh. Anytime anybody comes to the defense of Nicki and her, I don't know. She be just making mad choices, though.
Well, you gotta think about it. I mean, like, Nicki ain't hot no more. Not like physically. I'm talking about like you ain't looking for the.
I mean, she was never really physically hot.
I mean, she had a reign of like 10 years, bro. She was the hottest female MC. Think about it. Think about it.
God.
Think about it. Here we go again. It's 09. 09's a long way away, my boy. That's a Drake drop. I know. We old, my nigga. We old, bro.
Trying to do the math right now. I guess we are old.
No, we're past that. That's past that. Bruh, I know it, bro. I know sometimes things make you put things into perspective. But at one point, Nicki Minaj was the #1 female MC in the world, and that was a long reign before Cardi, Meg, and all these other female MCs.
I'll give you that. See, I can live with that.
Like I said, I'm not saying she's the best. You always remember, I've never seen someone's the best of all time. I call you the pocket. You got the pocket. And can't nobody tell me I'm wrong. She had a 10-year run.
He got the computer pocket. That computer pocket. Speaking of best of all time, though, what about this Drake and Kanye thing? What about, do you know what? I mean, they both got them albums. You got the Donna. You got the Certified Lover Boy.
So Kanye. I'm always kind of like skeptical of Kanye because I've really been out on Kanye for like the last few albums. I didn't really care for Life of Pablo.
I didn't listen to that one.
The gospel one, I gave it a good run through. It's all right. Yee, or maybe that wasn't good. You got Yeezus. Don't like that album.
Mm-mm.
I hated that album. That album was trash for me. Like I said, the last one. Not to say his best. The last one was what Beautiful Dark Fantasy. That's the last album that I cared about. And then you go back, like in the College Dropout series, I could play that. It's you just hold it up here. That's peak Kanye. That was saying Kanye. His mama was here. That's the whole thing. I listened to Donda. I did listen to Donda. I didn't get all the way through. It's a long album, bro.
How you get all the way through?
Because that's a long album, and I will.
Is it 26 songs? Hey. Just 26,
And I will say, like, this is one thing: production always gonna be great. Anytime a Kanye album is pre-produced, his production always gonna be great.
Yeah.
He had a lot of features. There was some songs. I won't sit there and say like I didn't like that. There were some songs on it. I just think the build up for it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think for me it was good as the build up was.
So you're saying the build up was better than the actual album?
Because at one point before this whole controversy that his label dropped the album because he was just taking too long. I thought he was going to tour the album in these stadiums and to make it exclusive because I would say he's a marketing genius and can't nobody deny him of that. He is a market. You made $7 million off concessions at your listening party. So you once again, Ken, here we go. We go right back to the first.
Oh man.
Once again, we're going back to the first two statements, bro. It's not to say he's you cannot deny Kanye. And I know like right now, I know in your mind you're like off Kanye.
Nah, because like his fans are just crazy though. Come on, man. Come on. $40 for some chicken tenders. Come on.
It don't matter though.
That's not marketing. That's like high prices.
High prices, and he's still doing these. He went to multiple stadiums. He didn't just do just Mercedes-Benz. He went to other stadiums before they were like, "Hey, we're gonna just drop this album." And so I thought he was gonna just do like a a touring thing to make this like an experience where you had to come to his listening party at these
and just
stadiums.
listen. Mm-hmm.
That was gonna be like you ain't gonna never ever have the physical album digitally or anything. You would just have to have had come out of your way and experience the moment of him putting on the show, like him and Kim getting back together at one of them. Bro, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
Oh, you were saying something about Kim and them reuniting, and then you just went crazy.
Yeah, so yeah, guys. So we had a little technical difficulty. We had a little breakage in time, but yeah, we're back. And as I was leaving off with, I think I remember, like you said, thank you, Kendall. Yeah, Kim and Kanye gets back together at one of his shows. So I really thought he was just going to do this for publicity and just tour this album around the country at all the stadiums, and the people would just come out. You know, you pay for merch. You know, you pay for all this, and he was just gonna make it just this Kanye, you know, experience. I mean, but supposedly, I don't know who did or who if he did or did not, but supposedly his label dropped his album from him, which he was pissed.
I mean, they should be pissed because it took him how long now? I mean,
because he kept like re-editing songs and blase because you know on the album was like 2 versions of a lot of songs on the album, and it's like, you know, it was a lot going on. And like I said, it was songs on there that I actually did vibe with and whatnot. I think for me the creativeness of Kanye is out of the realm, which I like. I do believe that you need to be, I do think you need to be some form of, as they would say, for people to be a genius at their craft, they have to think differently than most normal people.
I mean, that's true. And he does some outlandish stuff. So
he does, with the fact that he has to have a stream of conscience in which it's not for most people, or else we all will be the same. I mean, this is what it is.
I mean, that's true. I mean, it got to be for a lot of people though, because the band got hundreds of thousands of followers.
Oh,
so
yes, and so
I mean,
like I said, the album was a success for what, you know, and whatnot. It just, that album wasn't necessarily for me.
Yeah.
Now, CLB, Certified Lover Boy. So Drake had taken like a 3-year break. I don't know why it rhymed, but it did. He took a 3-year break. He took like a 3-year break from his last album, Scorpion, which it was a double disc itself, which they had like 20 some odd songs. Long, you know, decent album. I think as far as the hits, you know, I've replayed them a couple times, but I don't think I've gone back to that album. So my little history,
I'm trying to think of that because that was Nice for What, right? That was Nice for What, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I haven't listened to that one. Yeah.
So a little brief history for me when it comes to Drake. Been a fan for a long while. And I'm talking about a long while. Talk about Degrassi days, like as it goes acting.
Little Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy in the wheelchair getting shots. That's how far I go back. So, you know, watching him on Degrassi, and then he started music on there, and he had 3 mixtapes. He had Room for Improvement, he had Comeback Season, and then the most popularized one is So Far Gone, which comes out 08, 09-ish.
That's when I started. That's when I got hooked.
So a lot of people come into that Drake. So I'm already in the game with Drake. You know, he's got me as a fan. He signs to Young Money. Okay,
Young Moolah, baby.
Signs to Young Money, and then a sound started to change for me. He started not to sound like the Drake that I grew up on the mixtapes with.
I mean, he was still kind of like, he wasn't so far gone, but I could see I can see he did.
It was, I was still there. You know, I've heard every album. I don't think I've not listened to any of the albums. And so it kind of just goes down in streams of different. I think Nothing Was the Same is probably my favorite of his albums. That's the cover with the blue cover with him. Either
with the side to the face.
Either got him as an adult or his baby version of himself. It's 2 different versions.
I know you're talking about it.
But that's probably my favorite of the Drake albums, of official album. Of course, I always go back to his mixtapes every so often. I just like, man, I just want to hear some. This take me back to my high school days, my younger teenage years. I'll just play some of that Drake like that. CLB was a good album to me. I won't say it's my I think as far as the last few ones, it's actually re-listenable. Like when I go back and I listen to the first, I went through a listen to the first one to kind of get like also I start whenever time I get some of them, I start from the beginning track and let me see how you flow. Let me see how your track flows together. With me having Spotify, I like the little fade in and out so it kind of streams the songs together as it goes through. So I always listen to let me see how it flows or something like that. And then let me bake on it a little bit. And then I come back. I think for like the samples, the features, and stuff like that, this one was pretty good. It gave me some little nostalgia moments with old Drake.
And we got some old Drake in there.
I like some of the samples he had. I don't think it's gonna be for everybody. I will say that it's really like listen to Kev, and you know, I think it's gonna be on what generation are you in? Like so, Drake, my generation coming up. Yours too, but like I've been, like you said, you came to him so far gone, but I was already hooked on prior to that. I think it's out of the two, I like that one better than Donda. Now, that's my personal opinion. Now that I've said that, Kendall, you said you also listened to both.
Yes, I have.
What is your opinion on both of them?
Well, Donda was just too long. It just really was. And Kanye, like I said, Kanye to me hasn't been the same since 808s and Heartbreaks. Like,
is that after? Because whatever the last, is that?
Yeah, that's after.
A Beautiful Dark. Okay, so that's the album I meant to say. So whatever the last good album is, whatever the last good album is, and everything previously is. Kanye. Let's go. That's what I meant.
So that was to me that was the last great one for Kanye. They just wait. I know your mama died, and you know he just mental health, man. Mental health it's a real thing, and you can tell his. I mean, I don't know if he just tried to be edgier, or you know, a lot of his new after 808s he would start beefing with Jay-Z. He just started beefing with everybody, so a lot of his tracks be like subtle disses to certain rappers, and then you know he had the few just too many feuds, and I just couldn't get into Kanye. So I listened to it. Like I said, it was an hour and 46 minutes, y'all. Now, it takes me about 3 hours to cut my yard, so I had plenty of time. But I mean, I don't know, man. Kanye just say Kanye no more. And I just can't listen. Like maybe I'm just being biased, and while I'm listening, I'm just like, because like you said, production is always great. Beats are always good. His flow is always like good, but just like what he's saying. And for me, music is like, what is it doing to me? How's it relating to me? Kanye just don't relate to me no more, man. It's just not, you know. I ain't saying he a gold digger, but he's so messing with them broke fans because y'all, I don't know.
Question before you go on, do you think? Because I do think on both albums there are certain vibes for them, so which would require certain settings, like where you would be at. Do you think if you weren't cutting the grass and maybe you just chilling, would that change? It wouldn't. That's how I think about it. I told her like, if you don't like it, it's a certain vibe that Drake created with the CLB.
Yeah.
If you can fall into the vibe, you will like this album.
That's true.
But go ahead.
But yeah, because cutting the grass though is like my time where I'm at the most peace and I can actually concentrate as I'm working.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I can't vibe to you, then that means I'm not gonna be able to vibe into your car. I'm too busy paying attention or just trying to be in a vibe while I'm driving. You know, I turn on music to be hyped while I'm driving, and it just I don't know, Kanye just you know, ever since you dropped that Jesus is King album, I really just want to punch him. I mean, everybody want to see Logan Paul versus the next person. Put me next Kanye. Let's go, baby. Let's go. We could drum up some interest right now, bro. I shake my wicks and everything, bro. I'm just saying, bro. You know what? But yeah, Donna, shout out to his mama.
Yeah, because
obviously she was his rock. But yeah, the album didn't do anything. And then Drake, CBL. I mean, it's just like. Honestly, I didn't know the album cover was really the pregnant woman in emojis. I thought that was just something that was just trending.
Yeah,
and that was it. Something, and I'm like, wait, that's really his album cover? I'm like, what this man doing?
So a lot of people said they did not like it, which I get it. I wouldn't have found it.
It's just Nobody buys CDs though, so why y'all? I mean, you can't be tripping. I mean, you really can. If it's on your phone, you just go hit play, really.
Yeah.
But it's just, to me, I can't. My favorite Drake album happens to be the one where it's like he's in the background. I can't think of the name. It's like the picture of him with like the jacket and the shirt.
That's the I got you.
I can't.
Give me 2 seconds.
I can't think of. Yeah, why are you looking? But yeah, that's my favorite one.
Take Care.
Take Care, yes.
It's got like the brown, like it's kind of like a brown kind of setting. Like he's sitting at a table. Let's see, can I make it? Let's see.
Is it Take Care? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Take Care was my album.
Yeah,
that one and the one that followed that one, which was him in like the.
That's Nothing Was the Same. That's the one I like. That's Nothing Was the Same. Oh, sorry. Okay. So yeah, Nothing Was the Same is the one that follows after.
Okay, so yeah. So I mean,
yeah, I'm right there with
you. Yeah, but to me, like you said, because it's kind of is our generation. Drake's always gonna hit because to me, he just makes songs really for women that are just really catchy, and for dudes who like to sing and be in their feelings. That's what it is. It's not like saying Kendrick or J. Cole earlier this year, where it was just like, oh yeah, man, this is just hard fight. It's just like, it's Drake, summer tunes, got a couple tracks for the summertime. I've only listened to the album twice, so I don't really know the names of the song. And since I don't listen to the radio, I don't get to hear it that much. But it's just like poppy songs, that's his niche though. His niche is the ladies. So I mean, people hate on him, like, oh, that's all he does. I'm like, why would you go away from what makes you the most money?
And also,
I mean,
it really don't matter what anybody say or how you feel. Drake is the most successful rapper in the game.
So,
go ahead.
Speaking, because we talked about how Nicki was, and her reign was that period. So Drake and Kanye, they have the same period time, and they're still rocking. So I think you say Drake is better than Kanye.
Kanye's middle school.
Oh, so you think Kanye peaked way back then? You don't think he's still?
No, I mean, like his time was earlier than Drake, because Drake came 08, 09. Kanye was when I was in middle school. I remember the Kanye's workout plan. I was standing outside. Yeah.
But still, so though, like, if you take the last 10 years, though, they both been dropping albums still.
I think Drake is, in the last 10 years, we go with that pocket. Drake has been higher as far as his demand as Drake. When Kanye.
But who, like, so if you had to sit down and say who is better, period. Who, between the two, knowing that we know Kanye fell off, and knowing that we know Drake just kind of sticks to his niche, who?
Okay, is there any criteria to this question, or is it just I'm just going because that's going to be I'm going like best producer is Kanye. I mean, who has a series of albums where they go down in history? That's Kanye.
Okay, so if you take the ratings of the albums that are in history, producer, hits, if you're taking that criteria and let's say we just do those three. If Kanye wins 2 out of 3, it's Kanye, right? Yeah.
And then that before maybe who's a better rapper?
Yeah.
See, the question, so what's going to be hard for me is, like you said, you came into it in 09, so I'm already listening to Drake already. And I think if I was to give you like mixtapes, he was rapping then. Yes, he had the rapper singer thing that he's always had. Yeah. But he was
and Drake's been on more features too, though. He's been featured more than Kanye, probably.
His features have been hits, like No New Friends and stuff like that. So if I'm having to go with it, oh my God. I'm just gonna pick it. F it. Unfortunately, I'm gonna be biased. I'm gonna go Drake. I'm gonna be real biased because it's Kanye's College Dropout series is like great.
Untouchable. You can't touch it.
Untouchable. He has a number of hits on all 3 of the series albums. Just talking about the albums of those series. it's just, oh man, I think I can always really go back to Drake more than I can Kanye.
See, and I agree with you because it's like, let's just say Kanye is like Tom Brady when he was with New England, he won the 3 titles, and that would have been all he done. Could you say he's great because the rest of the time he just fell off? Or Drake, who's consistently, maybe he's won a couple, but he's consistently been like, every summer you can rely on these Drake songs just fire. Every summer. Albums might not be fire, but you can consistently count on him being hot, radio hot. You know, Kanye, I mean, Drake's on the VMAs. He's always on VMAs, MTV Music Awards. Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, the only thing that kept Kanye relevant to me was Kim K. Let's be real. That if it wasn't for Kim, Kanye, what would Kanye be?
Slavery was a choice. I feel like Kanye did his things over the last, let's say, 8 years. Mm-hmm. That wasn't necessarily because of his music keeping him relevant. Like you said, it was the stuff in the media that kept him relevant. He didn't let his craft keep him relevant. Because like, what's the name that we could say over the last 20 years that's still synonymous that everyone recognizes? Snoop Dogg. Mm-hmm. And it's not to say it's not about the music. It's Snoop Dogg, the personality has been relevant. Have you seen him commentate on these fights? In like, dude, he's
everywhere.
He's everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. So Kanye has been turning people off, like you and myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because of
dragging energy.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, dude, I get mental health, but it's get to a point where he knows he's so famous, he's so wealthy. Mm-hmm. Is there really any help that can really help him when you're Kanye West?
Oh man, hey, Robert Williams said it best, man. Hey, they fall into these false sense of self, and then when you realize it's just all a lie, you gotta know where to go. Can't nobody get to you.
Yeah. And Robert Williams had more humility than Kanye does.
Yes, he did. I don't think Kanye got any humility.
No, not at all. Not one. I don't think 1 ounce. Once you call yourself, when you told yourself you're a god, I think all that went out the window, right?
Pretty much.
I think that's safe to say. But go ahead, finish out what you had to say, man, about the album. I think you should go.
Oh, about Drake? Yeah, Certified Lover Boy. You know, it's.
Would you say of the last here? I got them up. I'm gonna tell you the last couple. So, Certified Lover Boy is the most recent. Mm-hmm. Scorpion previously. Views, More Life.
Views. Is Views the one with what's the album cover for Views?
So on Views, he's sitting on the little. He's like sitting on the little thing. He's sitting on that.
Okay, so what's More Life? What's More Life?
More Life is him. There's a picture of his dad, I think, on the front of that
one. Woo! Man, both of those are hot too. See, I'm just saying. Like something like it don't touch those, but you can easily slide it into that and be like, yeah.
And you said, I think what it is, because he makes the hits for the summer. Mm-hmm. Because like you say, like, oh, if you like, because it'll still be a song from these other albums that would get you, catch your attention.
Yeah.
He has a lot of hits. So it ain't just one hit on the album. It's normally like he can give you 2, maybe 3. Right?
True. I feel like he'll give you an easy 5, bro.
Yeah,
because Views itself has a lot. And when I saw the album come, I'm like, man, on Pandora, that's all I remember seeing all the time.
Yeah. So
and he has so many hits, you don't know what album they from. They all, and see, that's the thing too, because his music's so similar every time. You don't know what album you're pulling from.
It's like a hypnosis effect almost in the score.
It is.
It's you because you go. Because like I said, if I didn't give you a timeline of when Drake's last album, you could have possibly said last year when his album came out.
Yeah.
But it's been 3 years since his last album. And when someone said it's been on a break and they said it's been a while since Drake's album came out, I said, what are you talking about? I look it up, I go, it's been 3 years.
I did not know that, bro. I didn't know that.
I feel like I just heard it a year ago. But it's been actually like the only artist that has been a while, and I can tell you it's been a while, it's like a Kendrick or J. Cole.
Yeah.
I can feel their presence, but like I said, the Drake hypnosis effect, he's just been somewhere and I go, oh, that's Drake. And I've just heard some type of song with him on it, which he's good at that. He's good at that. And because you can't knock a artist for always keeping himself relevant for 10 plus years.
No, you can't.
Now,
that's what you're supposed to do, right?
Whether or not their music resonates with you, that's left to be unsaid. And I think different generations fall into it because, like, I know people that are like, man, Drake stands. Like, Drake is my boy. Like, I don't care what he drops. Thank you, Drake, for dropping Certified Lover Boy. That's that type of feeling, you know. And then you might be like yourself, Kendall is like, I like Drake, but this album's just kind of And then you never know, you might come with like, because like I said, it is a vibe, and it might need to be for a certain time in your life that you need. Because he also spoke about, having a kid, He's breaking up that type of stuff, and it's like, okay, this part he's trying to be vulnerable, whichever. Not the vulnerable like him singing to women. Like, actually tell us about yourself. Yeah. Tell us about yourself, because that's what we look as we get to our ages, like the 30s and plus. We want you to start. All right, when Jay-Z dropped the 444 album, because obviously Jay-Z can't relate to nobody really no more. He's a businessman. He's rich, but dropped the game of how his business and how to make money. Okay. Oh, this is a different concept. It's a concept. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just what it is. But I'm with you. I think Certified Lover Boy definitely gets a pass. Like, I can come back to it at some time, but it's not gonna be like on my rotation.
It's just, I mean, if it just happens to be where I don't got nothing else to listen to, like, let's just go ahead and play one more time,
So moving on, I got a question for you, and
I like these questions.
I want to hear your honest opinion of this individual, your take, and just give me just how you feel about this person. Ooh. So this is a head coach, black head coach, HBCU. This is Deion Sanders, right?
Oh, my dog, prime time.
So I got into a discussion with my buddy when I was in Texas about. I think I just spotted out. We're talking about football because he's an Arkansas fan. My game was, I'll say, so we lost, whoop de whoop. But I was like, man, I want to see my boy Coach Prime, man, because I follow him on social media. He be dropping some posts, like some motivational posts. I'm like, man, that's my boy Coach Prime right there. And he goes, he ain't gonna do nothing. I was like,
bro, he went in at Jackson State. What are you talking about?
I said, what do you mean he's not gonna do nothing? I go, hey, have you not seen, his like watching him how he's like brought this program up?
Yeah, they winning. They winning. You can't say that.
He goes, he's never been a head coach in college. I go, I mean, he was a head coach in his high school. It was just. His one big gripe with him is he feel like primetime is still about me wearing chains. I go, primetime still has a personality.
Yeah.
He has a person that he always gonna be that primetime personality.
Because he is primetime.
He is primetime.
That's just him.
If you see how he talks to these kids, especially these kids of color. Now, unfortunately, the person I'm having discussion is of the fair skin. And I kind of let him verbalize his perspective. Because
of course you have to. You gotta get their full opinion, right?
But it was of confusion though, that you don't think he could be a head coach because he didn't do it the right way of being a coordinator first. It's like, what?
Has he not seen the New York Giants head coach right now, who was just a special teams coach?
But no one is polarizing. That his what's his he's not polarizing like prime time, I guess. I can't. I kind of didn't know. It was late that night because we had just got in, so I didn't get into it. But it was like, I don't see it.
That would have woke me up. I would be like, let's go here. Let's go here, because obviously he's been trying to do it the conventional way, but nobody wanted to take him because. Like you saying, he's just too much. Primetime personality is just too much. But behind all of the showy is the actual human being who is right now very successful as what he's doing at a HBCU, who is stealing some of the most high-profile players from other states that come to his HBCU.
And I don't think. And so what I think I find it's hard for people who do not look like us is the understanding how a pendulum can swing
Mm-hmm.
as far as identification.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't think that Deion Sanders is going to be successful at that HBCU, I'm not saying he has to be the world national champion, but he changes the culture for schools who do not get really good funding.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, if you saw the jerseys he's brought in for these kids, man, they look.
I seen him, Brett.
Yeah,
I've
they
been
look.
watching. I've been ever since he's been there. Because honestly, he should have been the Florida State head coach. And look at him now.
Yeah, but
Just
because
look at him.
speaking then with that, they played Georgia State the other day, and Eddie George is the head coach of that, right? He thought Eddie George looked cool, being like, "Oh, I'm fine with Eddie George." It's the personality. When black people are too strongly personality, like have too much personality that exudes off of them, it rubs people the wrong way, and that's what I think it is. Primetime personality is either you like it or you hate it.
Don't. Yeah, there's no in between.
And then when you think of a head coach, it's a professional position, a very professional position. You supposed to carry. A lot of people look at head coaches to carry themselves in a certain way,
which really isn't fair.
It ain't fair
because deep down inside, we all know our high school coaches, our Pop Warner coaches, were just regular dudes. They weren't like.
They just liked the game of football and knew information about it. Because there's no way for you to. I mean, look at Matt Rule as a Carolina head coach. I mean, he went through some colleges. He was head coaching. And I think he was an assistant or coordinator in the NFL some years back. But to take the reign, to get an interview and get the reins of a whole organization, dude, that's a big jump. That is not. That's not. I mean, I get Urban Meyer because Urban Meyer has cachet. But I guess my thing, like, I was just kind of like, what? Because I felt like it was a good move because I mean, even the press conference he did the other day where he was asking the swag, like, why can we not put these boys' names on the back of their jersey?
They should.
These families, it is only like it's like I think it's just I'm just saying the swag right now. The swag, all their teams. That's all the HBCU teams. None of their players had their names on their jersey, like the back of their jersey.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm pretty sure when these boys come play at these schools, they mama, auntie, grandmama want to watch them on TV and see their son or grandson or cousin or nephew name on the back of their jersey to identify them.
They do. They got them in a college game. College basketball, they got them on the back.
Yeah, and they pay all this money, and
we know they selling that money.
First of all, Deion being in HBCU is a great prop, and I always tell people like this: it ain't happening right now, but you better watch out if in 15 years when a lot of these black players decide to go to places they identify with them, because it's some high school basketball players they got. Some of these HBCUs and some of their top of their list.
Yeah. Well, and they realized too that because of social media, you can get your film out there for people to see. Yeah. And if you're that good, they're gonna find talent. They'll come get you.
And that's I had to explain it to my buddy one time. I go, it's nice to go to Alabama. It's nice to go to Florida, LSU, because you get publicity. You're playing some of the best competition in the country, and you get a lot of those eyes on you. But talent and skill makes it in the field. Not
Khalil Mack played for Buffalo.
He's an all-pro in two positions, defensive player.
Went to a school that nobody knew of.
Nobody knew unless you're an avid college football fan. You don't know about Buffalo.
I don't think if you're an avid college football fan, you know. I think you only know if your team play against them every year. To be honest with you, because I sure ain't know.
Yeah, I get it. It's unfortunately I spent a lot of my younger years watching through all channels. So I watch I don't get to watch like I used to, but I used to watch football. Like I didn't care who was on the team. Because I always go, do you respect the sport? Do you respect the sport of football? Not just because, like you said, you want W's, but do you actually respect the sport? And that's why I was I was kind of like talking to him, like, dude, Dion respects the sport, and he's trying to build these men because actually, football ain't really the most important part of football. It's the development part prior to getting on that field for football. If it don't matter how good you are, if you can't stay on the field, you're no good to no one.
Nope. And if you happen to get injured and you can't play no more, what do you have left now?
But school.
But some of these people can't go. I mean, some of the guys don't go to school to go to school. They go to school to play. So having a coach like Dion who isn't just looking out for you for your NFL career, but for you as a man and your future, that's going to help a lot. Because, a lot of D1 coaches don't, I want to say that they don't care, but they have 94 players and a lot of them are trying to win because one, they're trying to keep the job, they're trying to make more money, and they're trying to make the school money, keep boosters happy, keep fans happy. And all that you don't hear where I need to worry about my players too. You just hear dollar signs, really. Keeping people happy equals dollar signs.
Which kind of we can transition to this topic.
Go ahead.
As far as leadership goes. You get what I'm saying? So what I have seen at like my two jobs I work at right now, I work at one place and I've got one this year, is I cringe when I hear people go, the leaders of this, and that. But then I watch them walk, and it's not really by leadership wise, it's by financial gain. And so I watch them do things to people. So they get paid more. They can do these things or say things to people because they get paid more. And I go, what's the point of putting that title if you're not really leading somebody? If you're not understanding that people, I always say it below you, because when you're making up positions, you have to go up. So there's obviously people and trickle down the fact they're below you. So when you're not really, if you're forgetting where you came from to get to this top part, because you make this money now and you sit in a nice lavish office and you get to drive this nice truck and whatnot.
Yeah.
If you don't present yourself in a way, when I talk to somebody that makes them, if I was that person that's positioned shoes, when I talk to you, if you, let's say you were below me, I won't, when we're having a conversation, you don't even know that my position is higher than yours. That's how I want. That's because I'm talking to you as a human being. Because regardless, when I have a conversation to you, you are another human. I don't care that you work a position that is not in my tier.
Yeah.
And that's what I be seeing. That's what I go back. Like Dion's leading these boys. Dion is bringing leadership to, especially black boys need it as a lot, because there's a lot of that do not have male role models in their homes. They have more, and I hate to say it now, I don't think it's the same statistic as it used to be, but the single mother rate is hard, man. So you got to get a lot of the boys' leadership comes from playing sports. They get hard coaching from male. And so it's just one of those things. Like, I don't understand how you see Dion failing when I see him doing so much leadership.
Yeah, that's just a little hate, bro. That's all that is. I mean, that's all that is.
And I go, is it just because you don't like his personality? Because you say that. You say that to say he won't be successful.
Yeah, I mean, we all got people that we know that's extra that we're like, man, I just wish you'd tone down a little bit. But I mean, we be like, they doing a good job. You ain't gonna be like, hey, I just want you to be a little extra. But keep doing what you're doing because it's working. I mean, when it's not working, we can come reevaluate that. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you on the leadership thing though, bro. Because I mean, good leaders, like when you think of generals in war who are leading people, they put their people in position to succeed. Which in a war, you put your people in position not to die.
Yes,
I mean,
you're also there. You're just as much of a casualty, almost in a sense, as they are. Like you're not, because because my supervisor asked me what I want to do. Do a leadership role. I was like, because I graded hard, Kendall. I graded leadership hard, and that's why I don't want to do it because I don't think I could pass my own grading.
Dang.
And because it's not like you can't pass it. It's just like I'll look at it like this. I hate having to tell people. I hate directing people what to do. I can lead by example by like just doing my task.
Yeah.
And I don't mind like teaching, but I always felt weird in the effective role of even because I have people now jobs I work at are either they're a lot of times they're older than me. And you fall into that whole like I'm your junior to you're my senior almost.
Yeah.
And I always feel weird. I don't mind helping out. If you ask me a question, I'm gonna like, hey, this that.
Yeah, definitely.
I do that type of leadership, but I don't want to be the day-to-day like, hey, make these people do this, and that. I'm like, man, that I think that always irked me because I was like, I always know like people are flawed. I'm flawed. So I'm already burned. Like I said, because I think to myself like I don't want to. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether or not it is the fear of like, in my mind, not doing something well or right. You know what I'm saying? Because
I got you.
That's the hardest thing about being a leader because when people start following you, they look up to you. And now you no longer get that, almost in my mind, that grace of you're going to mess up.
Yeah. I think that's just society now. That grace is gone because unfortunately as humans we're all gonna mess up, but I think too being the leader especially if you're a leader and you mess up, I think the greatest thing as being a leader is showing everybody, hey guys, I messed up, this is how I messed up, and this is how I'm gonna show you how not to make the mistake I made. It's just like I think there's ways to effectively lead people without being those type of bosses that you see where they just tell you to, hey, we do this, because I'm currently like training myself in a role to one day be a leader at my job just because attrition there, people are going to be gone and I'm going to be, unfortunately, not unfortunately, I want it. My opportunity is going to come where I can step into a role. Yeah. But currently I'm working on making sure that I'm good. And I work with like junior staff and like people call me. And sometimes I get calls like, oh man, this person's calling again. I say that, but then I'm still gonna answer the phone and be like, hey, you know what? I don't care as many times you can call me because this one day this is gonna click. In my mind, I'm saying that. I'm still gonna talk to them like in Kindle voice, but in my mind, like, hey, some people just take a while. Cause Kindle, you take a while. Kindle, you are extra bubbly and extra slow. That's just me. Sometimes it just take me a while to get things. But once I got it and once I clicked and if somebody's been belaboring with me to make sure I get there, after I get there, I'm going to be so grateful for that person and be willing to do anything for them. So I'm trying to make sure that, I do what I can to make sure I'm always there for them. So when I need my back covered too, that I know I have staff that are like, yeah, Kendall, you did that done? I got you. That's gonna take me 2 days. I got you.
Yeah, so. And I think, because I think you're totally right. I think another thing is part of it is I think it's not enough of those type of people.
Yeah, that's not
that realize like, hey, because where you at, you had to come from over here on this side of the fence, where you got on that side. Because I think, and I can always tell people, like, I like really being like your supporting cast. Because like a lot of times I get it. Because I think for me, because this, I hate to say it like this, but it's like my demeanor allows that question to be asked to me. How I am and how I walk and how I effectively do things. It allows that question to be asked to me. But it's because I want to make sure the person I'm working for, they shine. Like I'm trying to do that. Because I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to, because with leadership comes more responsibility. It's cool, like and all for the people, different people like Kendall for you for that next step. That's cool. It's like for me, it's like, man, I know how my demeanor is. I know I'll end up like driving myself insane trying to make sure I am executing on
Yeah.
all cylinders. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's I know how I am. It's just like that's where my work ethic comes from. Like when I'm at work, I will drive myself insane to make sure you get what you need.
Yeah.
As all my and I always too. I think that goes back to like the fact that I always feel sometimes inadequate without me, not having a degree really is a driving force for me a lot of times. No
But
one, I don't
see,
know.
man, that's it. But then you'll be holding for you to say you get into a leadership role and there are two people below you that are like you who want to be there, but think the same way. But if you can do it, just think of how much of an impact you will make on those people who are just like you, seeing you do it. That's why I want to be in different roles because I'm just different.
Yeah.
And the world has told us that to be a leader or to be anything, you have to be a certain way. Get away, man. I'm gonna make my own path. I want everybody else to take their own journey and to
Yeah.
be their authentic self and be the best that they can be and still be able to do those roles. I mean, we're all different. I mean, that's the whole point of us. We can't all be the same.
Yeah.
That stuff don't work. I mean, obviously, look at Hollywood. They all were the same, and now we find out they all been raping women and touching kids, and that's not. No, if I gotta conform to be like that kind of person to be in the role, I don't want that. No,
Oh,
no, no.
I get no. That's totally true because like I did, I applied, interviewed, and then I did get another position just at my current job too that I got to be a part of, which is cool. So that hopefully should be an increase in financial and also in far as like stuff to be challenged because I've been doing inventory, let's say government inventory for like 4 years. Sounds cool when I tell you where it sounds cool when I tell you where I work at and what they do and all like that, but I don't do nothing with just this part. You need this, okay. There you go. I need that. But this new position will require, far as more just being in like meetings and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be part of a different team, just kind of help, like said like that. But going back to the interview, when I did the interview, which is my longest interview, it was like an hour and a half, bro. The interview was an hour and a half, but it was broken down in 3 increments of 30 minutes of interviewing with a set of people.
Dang.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah. That's
government. Come on now.
I never talked so much in my life.
Government, Joe Biden, what we doing? What we doing? 45. I'm gonna take this up to the American people. Put this
hour and a half, man, and it was broken down. First 30 minutes was with the actual supervisor who I would be working under with position at the time, which I do now. The second 30 minutes was with the receiving department, and then the last 30 minutes was with pretty much government like quality, compliance, all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
So the one question that they kept asking me is like, why do you see yourself fit for this position, right? So I go, after working on the program that just ended for us and watching some of the so we they just got into kind of manufacturing like actual physical stuff. They normally based in technology, but actually making like actual stuff, it's not their forte. After watching this program do what it did, I realized there's some broken communication between different areas of the company. Because let's say this trailer, you need inventory, you need receiving inventory, you need mechanics, you need government, you need quality, you need these people right here, right? I'm gonna name those. It's probably more detailed in between them.
Yeah.
But what I saw was you have all those 4 categories, but none of them were all on the same page.
Oh.
And people wanted to do their own thing, which caused this disruption between the different groups. So the position I'm work we be doing, it kind of overlaps in those different areas. Okay. And my biggest thing was I feel like there's no communication in the process of doing what you guys were doing. I feel like if we could have had better communication as far as planning out stuff, the stuff that was overly stressful that we had to take care of during the
Mhm.
project, I decided to skip over it and try to come back on the back end of it. We could have avoided that. I feel like, if you had the right people that were actually like taking the initiative to go talk to people. Let's get on the front end of the stuff. Because, dude, when I tell you they handled the program that was on every which way, wrong to Sunday, I'm surprised if this thing that we built, because I can't really speak about it. I'd be surprised the thing that we built don't fall apart.
Ooh.
Because I will watch. Could that go back to the leadership of watching people? Let's go back to leadership of watching people. Because unfortunately, people don't realize leadership is not when you're in front of people talking to people. It's when what you're doing when no one's watching you. Your character.
People don't think that's leadership either. They think it's all about what you telling people, but nah, bro, that ain't it either.
That's why I graded it so hard, because unfortunately, the term leader, I will use tell me your title. Tell me your title. Like, I am the manufacturing let's say liaison. I really, you tell me something like that. Put that leadership stamp on yourself. You now put a focus in my mind on you, and now I must watch you meticulously to make sure that you living up to that term, because that's a hard term. I always say the greatest leader that ever was on this planet was Jesus Christ himself. And if you say and like I said, I don't do that to like, I don't tell her, hey, you ain't Jesus Christ. It's just like, I just like just thinking that in my head. Just like, yeah, I don't go like, hey, man, you
this man right here, man. You ain't Jesus. Get out of here. Get out of here. This is my leader.
Throw a Bible at him. Get out of here now. Get out. But I will watch people who make a lot of money because they feel rushed to get stuff done. Do things that kind of cut corners. Well, when you cut corners, it might not fall on you to fix, but it falls on somebody like me to fix. And now you come to me asking me a question like, where is this part? And I go, well, last time it was issued, it was to that little thing over there. Oh, it's gone now.
Oh,
where's that? Oh, and then you have, let's say you got 50, 60 people all out on the floor, and one person does an action over here. A majority of people might have seen them not do this action of taking this part and putting it on something else, but then tell the people below it in that chain to, hey, I moved this item. So if you want to go back in the system and show that I moved this item from here to there, that way it doesn't cause any confusion for this area over here, that would be nice. Not doing that. So it's like a bunch of grown kids running around like it's Armageddon and just picking up stuff. So that's where I show like leadership was broken. So I was telling them like, hey, communication is broken. And I really feel like if I'm a part of this team, I can help in that regard. Because I worked at the bottom of the total pole position. I worked the position that people come to and you need my items, but you got to give me certain documentation for me as an item. And a lot of that was thrown out the window because they were just walking in and grab stuff off the shelf. This ain't Publix. People take account for that stuff. You can't just go grab an item that you need out of this warehouse stock room, pick it up and walk out of the cage. It must be brought to a person of inventory. They must issue it to something to show that it's gone, to keep the quantity numbers in line. So you don't come back like, hey, you got some more of this? Well, it shows I have 6, but I have 0 in location. See? So that was my biggest thing, and I guess that must have resonated with them because I did get off of the job, and so that's why people. It's
technically you just showed leadership and pointed. Your whole spill was just leadership. Like, I mean, that's what I don't know what to tell you, but that was the perfect example of leading. You pointed something out, and then you told somebody, and then you offered the solution. That's 1 + 1 = 2. That's leadership. Congratulations on your future leadership role, because obviously that's coming, whether you want it or not.
Yeah.
So
and I think that is
Yeah. So you better. So honestly, now so you better tell me that you ain't replying, because I'm gonna be like, hey, you better. Let me find out where you work, so I can be on the job. So like, testing.
And you know what, man? I think about that a lot, man. I think, just apply to just being a man, a husband, father. It just leadership is a term that goes through a lot of different aspects of your life, man. Even just it's tough, man. It's tough living up to that term, man. It's tough trying to be the upstanding, let's say, human all the time, because that's for women or men or kids. It's hard, you know what I'm saying? Because
it's hard. But
go ahead.
And this, we're not supposed to do this life alone.
That's true.
And the more you keep to try to do it, the more it ain't gonna work.
That's true.
I'm just letting you know.
That's true. And that's why I got my wifey and stuff like that. That you have, it's just like like we were talking, like just really just being able to unpack things. It really helps that development growth, and not you stewing in dark thoughts, because like the idle times, devil's playground, right?
Yeah, it is.
He's waiting for you to sit there and start contemplating things that you're not thinking of, but he gonna drop this little nugget in there for you. In there. But I get what you're saying, but I truly do.
Yeah. Yeah. No excuses. I don't want to hear excuses. Not to that. No. Oh, you got no excuse, Brett. None at all. None at all. None.
Oh my God. But you got anything you want to tie in on the end of that, man?
Hey, man, I'm tied into what Destin was just talking about, especially being alone. Y'all, we don't have to do this alone, and we're not supposed to. We're not created to do this alone. We're created to have a community. It just takes the effort of us being open with one another about that community.
Yeah.
And finding the community, because currently we're trying to find that ourselves in my household, just a community of people that we can be open with. It's nice to, go and do things, but when it comes down to, you just need people who you can genuinely open up to and talk about things like that. And then to have people who root for you too. Like, hey, like that's just the best stuff, really. Because now I'm a big thing. Hey.
That's a big thing. People don't be rooting for you.
Yeah,
they root for you when you ain't nothing at the moment.
Yeah. When you're big time, they don't want to root for you. But I'm gonna root for everybody, because I like to see everybody win. But yeah, man, just that's my thing. Yeah. Do not have to do this alone. Do not sit in your dark corner. And if I find y'all, if y'all ask me and y'all tell me about y'all being in the dark corner, trust me, I'll be blowing you up, dog.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but you best believe you might get a 7 a.m. text like, "Good morning, how are you? How are you doing?" But that's all I had, though.
No, that's true. What Kendall said, man, I think one of the hardest thing is we know how to be vulnerable in certain settings, but no one is ever, I don't think anyone's 100% vulnerable with anybody besides you talking to the Lord. If you like, you'll tell him, because you feel, I think we feel like when it's not a physical person in front of you, 100% vulnerability of what you got going up here, and either speaking out loud or even the thoughts in your head, saying it to a man upstairs, is easy. I think we're not, because though he is a real being, you don't necessarily get a response off rip when you say something that's super vulnerable. Whereas a human being, you can say something vulnerable, and depending on what their perspective is on life or how much living they've done, can garner them a certain response that might not be the best that you want to hear at the time. But that was deep, man. We were deep on that one. But sorry, but is your phone near your mic?
Yeah, it is. My bad.
Yeah.
I got pee, baby.
But with that being said, guys, man, we back after a little hiatus, man. I will say this, man. I'll tell you this, Kendall. I've gotten hit up by people coming on to do guest spot on the podcast, and I would love for them to, but unfortunately, we don't don't actually have like a real. This is like more of a hobby for us, so we don't have like the best time frame to do anything because a lot of people can do it during the weekdays. All we got is Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So
We
I would
live
say,
life, man. We have real lives.
unfortunately,
That's
this is
just
just a
true.
hobby. This is
Hey,
a hobby for us to really kind of do and hope. And like I said, hope for me is to eventually one day get it to a certain point, but it's only so much I can do. I have a family. I gotta go to work, a regular job, and stuff like that. I gotta get support over here.
regular job. Hold on now. We just talked about this. You ain't gonna be having a regular job for long. Stop with that bull, okay? So maybe I'll drive that out. Never. Hold on now. Hey.
And you know that's me. You know, I'm very self-deprecating. I work hard because I live in a negative space. Not to say everyone can't do what I do mentally. Like my wife requires praise and what's the adulation and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I'd rather you tell me I can't do something and I outdo what you told me I can't do. That's just
Mhm.
how I live. That everyone's not in that same space. There's people that they live in a certain realm. But
Mhm.
I get what you say. Like it's not a regular job. I think I say it's regular because I always go back to where my first other jobs and I wasn't making no money. And then for me
Mhm.
to think where I'm going through financially, I'm like, what? You know, because like it starts to give me financial money that like, oh, I've never made this ever in my life.
Stability.
You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? So I think sometimes it's still mind blowing, and I think so. That's what keeps me humble because I always think back to where I was beforehand. You know, so
Mhm.
like that.
But
But
yeah, man.
no regular job. I got a good little job coming. I got a great job coming up, man, and I'm looking
I'm gonna
forward
call pride time. You need some pride time in your life. That's what you need.
to some prime time. But with that being said, man, guys, I love everyone who takes the time to listen to the podcast, man. I think me and Kendall, we rightly enjoy everyone who actually comments back to it. Let us know how you feel. But as always, guys, I have been Destin Parker, your host. It has been Kendall Allen, the co-host from Jacksonville. This has been the Smooth Way Podcast, guys. And we are out.
We out, baby. Settle.